Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So with all of this talk about year 3, from time to time, I'll take a little bit of, some of my daily uploads to discuss a few things that are pertinent to the game and, the future of the division right now. We know from the developers, from a lot of different things that have taken place in the past few weeks, that we're going to be getting, some content in year 3. Now, among that content, we are not necessarily certain what this all is going to bring. And so far, it's kind of in a place where, we've played basically everything that year 2 had to offer in a sense. Anyone that's playing the game right now is most likely just playing seasons, having fun, engaging with their friends, or just engaging with the game because it really does have a very, long loop that it goes with. This is something that Ubisoft does very well. They try to add a loop into most of their games. Even when you play Assassin's Creed, you could just keep playing and playing and playing even after beating the story. It's a way that they kind of allow for you to be able to gain more value for your buck if you enjoy the game. Now, we're looking at this year 3, and there are a few things that, many agents want to see. I've made, some videos in the past talking about my wish list and all of that stuff, but I feel like there's something that really does stand out, which is, some of the endgame PvE content. Now, granted, I'm not going to be talking about the PvP side of things because that's not a, part of the game that I really do engage with. And plus, I've been watching, Lyrical Fighter lately and, just basically taking and listening to some of his opinions on the Division 2's PvP right now. And to be very honest, it's really interesting. I am already seeing a lot of the issues that are in PvP, and some of them are issues that I've actually highlighted before, and why I don't believe that, even if they were to do some of the things that a lot of PvP players are saying that they want, it may not necessarily still work because at the core of the game, it's just not going to allow for that same PvP experience from the Division 1. Well, I could do a video on it, but this is not the video for it. But let's put that, let's just put that on the shelf right now, and then let's basically talk about this particular aspect of the PvE game, which is basically a hardcore aspect of things, and that's the legendary missions. Now, when the developers released Warlords of New York, they really did, tout the legendary missions as, these missions that were going to pretty much challenge everyone who played the game at that level. And, to be very honest, they are fun. I mean, when you learn how to play them, each week you go in, you get an exotic cache. It's so cool to be able to get those items. And, with the year 3 content, we can be certain that there's going to be, a new series or a new rollout of new gear items and most likely some more exotics. I mean, if you think about it right now, the exotic gloves only has one in the whole family. And so there needs to be basically a revisit to that group of exotics. So we need another exotic glove to be able to kind of maybe even out things. And then if you think about the LMG family, LMGs basically have the Pestilence and the Bullet King, which are not necessarily that many, but then you come to the rifle family. The rifle family is basically sitting on about 3. You have the Merciless, you have the Ravenous, which is in the raid, and then you also have the Diamondback. And so when you kind of think about this, there's a weird imbalance going on with the number of exotics. So if they could maybe bring them all to balance over the course, of the game while it goes to its end phase, then I think those are the opportunities. But how we're going to be playing and how we're going to be interacting with the game to get them, they really need to deliver these, content areas to be at those levels. And we have Camp White Oak, which is a stronghold. We have Manning National Zoo, which is a stronghold. And we also have Tidal Basin, which is also a stronghold. These have not yet seen a legendary mission. Now, I get it. These missions are actually quite long missions. They're not your, they're not necessarily your district union. Neither are they capital. Capital is actually the shortest one because of the loop. Now, it takes a while to play because of the way that the level is designed to challenge you. But the others, they are huge land masses. But it still doesn't, remove, in my opinion, the possibility of making a solid and enjoyable experience in playing legendary missions in these places. If anything, it allows for a different dynamic because of the way these two missions are actually designed. They are somewhat similar to the Roosevelt Island mission in a sense, but in their own way, they have much more open aspect, which will make them a lot more challenging. Roosevelt, of all the legendary missions, Roosevelt Island is the toughest one to complete because it's designed in a way that keeps you and your team out of cover more than often, and has all kinds of weird landmark depressions and landforms and even different structures and scraps all over the place that really can set you up. So I think if you kind of look at these two, they are ripe for the taking, especially in the way that they've designed them. Now, when it comes to the tidal basin, I think this is the one that basically will bring more of a technical aspect of the gameplay to it, because tidal basin is a mission is a stronghold directed at one specific goal, and there are structures within the mission that you must have an end, a final encounter, and take time to do these different phases in order to be able to get that fight done. And I see an opportunity with that final arena of tidal basin. In fact, to be very fair and to be honest, I have not played tidal basin for months. I don't remember when last I played it, just because once you do it with the invaded missions, it just in my opinion doesn't really get much interesting afterwards. I mean, yeah, you take out Wyvern and whatever, but other missions that are still in the game that I enjoy because they do have other things to offer. For me, tidal basin necessarily did not feel too unique. I felt like it was it was just kind of a generic mission in the way that it was actually done. Now, when it comes to the level design is still top quality, but I think there needs to be a little bit more of the, I would say, the unpredictable nature that legendaries actually do bring to the table. And so this is, in my opinion, where I think a big opportunity is. So 3 more legendaries can still make their way into this game if the time and resources, are put in to get it done. Now, again, I have to also put a caveat to this. I know many may say, well, where are they going to find time to design these missions or to, get them together? And to that, I say, we have to go back and remember that the Pentagon missions were actually done by another of Ubisoft's sister studios, and also the Iron Horse Raid was done by another Ubisoft studio. So once they have the expertise, once they have the knowledge, once they have the resources, which they seem to all do, then most likely they're able to take these missions because the base levels are already there. The structures are already there. They just have to come up with a design, a progression, encounters that feel balanced and feel good, for players to be able to play. And I don't think those things are too challenging to do because if you think about it, there's only a specific number of enemy NPCs you're going to encounter in a mission like this when you're going in as a solo player or when you're going in for 4. And so they could put it in a way that actually has maybe a little bit of an extra challenge to it that's not just a random tanky generic boss, and they can also make tweaks as they go on. I mean, if you guys remember, this Capitol Hill, when it first was released, the final boss basically had like all these support stations that overlapped and it was almost impossible to take them out, but that was eventually changed. So even if they bring out something and it's like, well, this doesn't seem like it's enjoyable, and players basically say, oh, this is not necessarily what we envisioned, they can always make amends to it. But I think this is something that the developers need to basically prioritize. They need to get this aspect of the game into the next package for the 3rd year. And I genuinely believe that a lot of players are going to be able to enjoy it. But when it comes to PvP, I don't know. I need to hold my thoughts for now because we don't know. They may make an announcement regarding PvP, and that might change the game. But for now, from listening to other PvP players in the community, it's really challenging to be able to see where they're going to take PvP. If they want to do it, it's going to take a lot of work, but they can do it. But for now, I just don't see how they're going to be able to tweak those systems in a short period of time. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll get out of your hair. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Hopefully we'll see in another video. Peace out.